Hello. Hi, everyone. Giving everybody a few seconds to come online. I know it's kind of a little earlier in the day. Hope everything's going well. We're going to be talking about Fuel for Life. You are what you eat. Continuing on from yesterday, where we talked about your body. We need our nutrients coming from the ground. Like the Bible talks about how man was formed of the dust of the ground, and that's where a lot of the nutrients are. So we basically need those same nutrients. And just like how with water, we're told we're 70% water, and to drink more water. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start it. Maybe some other people will hop on the video here in just a moment. We're going to talk about different foods that you should eat, what you need to look for as you're selecting what to eat. There are whole foods. That's one category you want to think about. Obviously fruits and vegetables. And what's interesting with fruits and vegetables is that they contain thousands of different substances and chemicals, all your vitamins. I mean, thousands of them. So not only are you taking in those thousands of chemicals and substances in your body, and your body's processing them, but as your body is processing them, sometimes your body is going to create other substances that your body needs. And that's what's so cool, because like, say for example, broccoli, as you're munching on your broccoli and chewing it, the saliva in your mouth, as it interacts with the broccoli, it creates a whole nother substance right there. And then that substance interacts with some of our genes, and it's the genes that will kill cancer cells, or at least suppress them, and prevent those conditions from happening. So, I just think, this whole chain reaction of everything just kind of falling perfectly into place if we eat all the right foods. That's just so cool. Another area that you need to think about when you're selecting foods is it fresh foods? And that means not just because the grocery store shelf says it's fresh, but we're talking like within hours of it being picked. And because a lot of your nutrient loss happens with our produce from the time it's picked until the time it gets to your grocery store shelves. And that's even if it's being kept in like a cold store section, it's still going to lose about half its nutrients. And when you're looking at your fresh produce, you want to know that it's ripe, that it was picked when it was ripe, because that's when the enzymes and all the nutrients are at their peak. But if it was picked when it was still kind of immature, then so are all of your nutrients. They're not going to all be there. And I know we've all been to the grocery store and seen the shelves lined with green bananas. And and then you have to take them home and put them in a bag or wait for them to ripen on their own, and they're just not as good. And I think the same thing happens with tomatoes. They're kind of picked when they're still kind of green, and they ripen on their own. They taste so much better and have all their nutrients when they're picked when they're ripe. And I've also kind of noticed, as a side note, that a lot of these cookbooks that are from nutritionists, and it's all their recipes are geared towards getting the most nutrition bang for the buck in your recipe, and they never call for green bell peppers. I've just noticed that, and they always call for red bell peppers. And I've still been looking, and I just don't see green bell peppers being called out. But I don't know if you know it, if you've ever grown them in your garden, they all start out green, and then if you leave them on the vine long enough, they turn red. So that's why they cost more. But no, they're really good. So, but anyway, we can't always get that, within produce picked within a few hours. But, we can certainly buy frozen frozen fruits and vegetables. Some recipe, obviously if you're looking for a salad, that's not going to work. But you can buy things at a farmer's market. That's going to be local or maybe even regional. So that's kind of closer. The best bet is if you can grow it in your own garden. And in this book that I've been researching by Darren O'Lean, it's called Super Life, and he talks about you can even grow sprouts maybe in your kitchen window, and all you need is like a jar, a container, and some water and the seeds, and just have it, if it has enough sunlight coming in, you can grow sprouts right there on your kitchen counter. So and sprouts are like twice as healthy. Like say if you get broccoli sprouts, they're like twice as healthy as regular broccoli. So just think about that. And that's like a quick, easy gardening tip from me or the author of the book. But anyway, the third category you want to look at is it clean, like a clean food, and that means organic. Is what I'm talking about, where the food has no pesticides or fertilizers used, because all these a lot of these pesticides are so dangerous. They cause cancer, they cause all these neurological diseases, and you don't want to see anybody go through that stuff ever. Birth defects, things like that. So I mean, we're talking serious stuff, and I pull weeds. I would love to use this stuff they sell at the store, but the chemicals, but it's too scary. Anyway, and also kind of think about it like a pesticide. If it's going to kill bugs, okay, I know a bug is small, but still, what will it do to you over time? If you keep exposing yourself over and over and over, what is it doing to you? And it does taste better. It really does. You can tell a difference in the taste of some fruits and vegetables, but there have been some studies that have shown that where they took some organic strawberries and regular strawberries, and the vitamin C content was significantly greater in the organic than it was in the regular. So, you're going to get more nutrients out of the organic as well. And finally, the last thing are raw foods. Now, that's like salads, nuts, using your veggies. Sometimes we have veggies and dip. Eating raw foods. And now, granted, we can't eat that all the time. Maybe go for a salad a day, a good sized salad a day works. But one thing about the raw foods is that it alkalinizes your tissues, as to where cooked vegetables will make it more acidic for your tissues, and you want to have an alkalinized body. When you're acidic, you're more prone to diseases. So, the raw foods do help make you more alkaline. And it also keeps the enzymes in the food as well. And that's, the enzymes are some of the hard workers in your body. So, and the author of the same book, the Super Life book, he talks about, we may want to eat a steak dinner, but it takes a ton of enzymes to work on and digest that steak. So, we definitely want our enzymes. So anyway, that is what I had to share. Again, we want whole foods, where we have the whole foods are going to have thousands of nutrients and chemicals in them, and they also interact with what's going on in our body when it gets digested and create new chemicals, like the broccoli. As you eat it, you're chewing on it. It interacts with your saliva, which creates a number of other processes which can kill cancer cells or keep them, keep them suppressed, and other diseases. And the next was the fresh foods. We want to be able to get it as fresh as possible, frozen or from your farmer's market, or grow your own. And then our clean organic foods, we don't want fertilizers and pesticides, because the pesticides cause so many diseases, bad diseases. And, so we also want to make sure we're getting all the, like, organic fruits and vegetables. They're going to have more nutrients. And then finally, the raw foods, where they will help keep our bodies more alkaline and less acidic. So eat raw where you can. I know it's not easy, but some every day helps. So I hope that helps. And it's good to try to keep eating as healthy as we can. So if you have any comments, you can feel free to leave them below when this gets posted. And I appreciate you watching. Thanks.